Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Al-Shai, Bashem, Rakakodah. Shalom to the 144,000 rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm going to entitle this video, this is a sort of back to the basics, BTTB. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, and have given a boy for an harlot. This is from Joel 3 verse 3, and what I will do is read from the first verse, and I may just read the whole chapter, but the main part I want to deal with is like the first, let's say, the sixth verse, because this children of Jerusalem, so in the Grecians, behold, I will. Okay, the 7th verse to the end talks about the payback that these people will receive. Okay, the nations will be judged. Number one nation, Esau, and the rest of the nations. It's focusing on Esau, the Edomite nation. Judah will be blessed, and that's the kingdom. And this is the 6th verse. We're in the 6th verse now. The 5th verse, the first verse to the 5th verse is the cursings, mainly chattel slavery. And then the 6th verse down to like right about here, verse 9th verse, proclaiming among the Gentiles, prepare war. So we're telling them to prepare war. So we're in this time right now, these precepts. '17 verse, so shall we know that I am, so shall ye know that I am Yahweh. All caps, it's Yahweh. Your power, your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Holy mountain is a people before it's a place. Then shall Jerusalem, a people before it's a place. So it's talking about Jerusalem, the place, and Jerusalem, the people, which are the Israelites. Be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her anymore. Well, that's a cut to God gathering the nations to come against us. It said no strangers shall no strangers pass through her anymore. In other words, you're not gonna come and rebel against us. And this is the actual kingdom. Edom shall be. This chapter says a whole lot, but my focus is really on the 3rd verse. Really, the first, like I said, the first 6 verses. So it says in Joel 3 verse 3, in the middle of the 3rd verse, and have given a boy for an harlot. Now, when you go to the commentary, this is what it says. The reference is custom common in ancient warfare, by which the conquerors divided among themselves the captives by lot to deal with them afterwards as they pass, and the Jewish prisoners, or the Israelites, kingdom of Judah, were held by their captives, in this case Esau, so cheap that one who had received a boy as his lot sold him to a slave dealer in exchange for an harlot, or perhaps give him for the hire of a harlot Like that says you can deal with this woman, you can pop her a couple of times, and then you give me that little black boy, and you give me the slave woman back so I can use her again, making her a prostitute. So they were pimps, whoremongers. Whoremonger mean a pimp, seller of whores, and one who had received a girl parted with her for the sake of choros of wine. So you had wine, you had women, you had ivory, you had different things. Cast lots of Jerusalem at the time, captives, Chaldeans. It's not talking about the Chaldeans, where it is said as a special indignity that lots were cast on the honorable men of No Aman, each time the same phrase. So I looked at this here, Benson. We'll try Eliot's commentary. Cast lots, the nations who opposed and carried away the Israelites treated them as chattel, meaning cargo, like not even humans. So when we came over here to the Americas, we were considered what is it 3/5 of a man, of 3/5 of a human. But back in the ships, we were just cargo. Like you have TV sets or whatever. It says cast lots for the possession of them as slaves and purchase a night revelry or other indulgences with the captives they had taken. Now, where did they get these harlots from and put them on the ship? I don't know. So the harlots was little boys. I'm gonna prove that. Okay, let me go to Benson commentary. They have cast lots for my people. It is customary with conquerors in those days to divide the captives taken in war among themselves by lot, and so did these enemies of the Israelites, that's Jews right there, and have given a boy for an harlot, and they made them harlots too, because they didn't have a separate ship with prostitutes on it. By this is meant that they exchanged or gave away Jewish boys or Israelites instead of money for harlots. Instead of money for harlots, in other words, the exchange was, you give me those little boys, I give you this. And sold a girl for wine that they might drink for a draught of wine as it were, that is at a very vile and low rate. These instances are mentioned to signify the contempt or disrespect in which these enemies of the Israelites, which are Edomites, Arabs, and some Hamites, and Jake too, they were involved in it too. They were getting rich too. Hell, there was one king that was selling his Israelite wives to this man. Held the worshippers of the true power, which are the Israelites, they parted with them when they had taken them captive upon the vilest terms, as setting little or no value upon them, 3/5 of a man. In Mangrelia, according to Sir John Chardin, they sell captive children for possessions and for wine. And there's a reference by somebody. So they made the little boys harlots, and I'm gonna prove that. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and prove it now. Not gonna make this long. Okay, during American slavery, the gay slave owners forced themselves on male slaves. A boy for an harlot. They made him into a harlot. Okay, this says right here, yes, they did. Black male slaves were sold as page boys. Now in D.C., you have these page what they call them, page boys and page girls, and there's always some type of scandal with these, politicians having sexual relations with these boys, and you haven't heard it in a while because they keep it under wrap because you're talking about the U.S. government. Page boys, but everyone knew what they were really for. Moism was frowned upon back then, and it is today. People do it, but it's like you're not going to tell you're not going to wear a T-shirt saying I'm a proud this, especially if you're like a businessman, a congressman, a senator, a president, a vice president, a CEO of what's it called, NGO, non-governmental organization. You got these people, these important people that wear the suits. They're getting in with certain people of this system, but they keep it under wraps. That's the whole Jeff what's his name Jeff Epstein thing. He had a list with all kind of politicians, lawyers, top people, even actors, directors, and so forth. So you don't say it proudly because number one, it's an embarrassment, and number two, it's and a lot of them have wives and so forth, and number two, it's against the law. But those same ones that put those laws out are doing it behind the scenes, and this is the wicked place. It says so. It was easier for a white Mo to stake his lust on an enslaved African, which are Israelites, rather than risk getting involved with another white man because they were dealing with each other. But they was like, well, we can get caught, It says who might have let other people know that he was happy. So he's proud of being happy. So he said, yeah, one of my lovers is this guy right here. And this guy is acting like he's a happily married man, a Christian. These motherfuckers are the biggest hypocrites on the planet Earth. And you'll find out a lot of these Christian pastors and ministers, a lot of them involved in adulterous acts and even more acts with little boys. Sold a boy for a harlot, made him into a harlot. Like I said, they didn't have a ship with harlots on it. Okay, we want this little boy. Okay, get the harlot. They didn't have that. They turned them into moles. Read again. Yes, they did. What was the question? During American slavery, did happy slave owners force themselves on male slaves? Sold a boy for an harlot. That's what it means. Yes, they did. Black male slaves were sold as page boys, but everyone knew what they were really for. Moism was frowned upon back then, and it is today. Let me read this one. The black African slave traders were renowned for breaking in different males captured, breaking in defiant males captured as slaves, typically in tribal wars, the tribes, and sadistic Moism ways called buck breaking, to humiliate and shame them. So now let's look up the word buck breaking. Tariq Nasheed did a movie on that. Let me see something. Bear me for a minute. Let me just do it this way. Buck breaking. Buck breaking meaning. Now they're saying it's a myth. Meaning, broken meaning. Buck breaking, the alleged act of publicly punishing a male slave, typically by first flogging him and subsequently sexually, assaulting him. What is buck breaking? Buck breaking refers to the act of sexually abusing black slaves, and the male, publicly and in front of other slaves in order to assert dominance. And that's what they do in Hollywood. You're hearing with P. Diddy, with Jeff Epstein and all that. You know, they gotta bend over. Gotta be bend over billies. It says how prevalent was buck breaking during the USA slavery. Let's click on that. How prevalent was buck breaking during USA slavery? Considering it would be a hanging offense for anyone complete with destroying the name of your family forever. How common were comfort girls during slavery in the U.S.? Did they exist? Yeah, you had a beautiful Jake woman, extremely beautiful Jake woman slaves. They had these two Edomites. They became the two of the richest slaves in America, and they were selling. They were pimps, but they were selling the woman, the beautiful Jake woman. And what do they call? They call them fancy girls. How common was it for American slave owners to impregnate their slaves? Were there slave owners who raped male slaves? Probably there were some. We have no way of knowing how many or who, since slaves could not report it. Yeah, you couldn't go to the police and say, "Oh, I'd like to have a rape kick put on me." And they ate him too. These are devils. They ate Jake. Was this a systematic practice that was common? Nope. It wasn't. They're saying it wasn't common, but it happened. There was no evidence of this being a common thing or in any way normal. Yeah, this is part of the buck breaking. They whip you and then they sexually assault you. And you got the Jake doing it. You got the fellow slaves watching him, and you got the master. So, but they're not going to pay for it. They're not going there. That's why this clown, Tucker Carlson, said, "But why am I going into slavery?" And then he made a statement. So if you're an Edomite, there's nothing you can do. So he got the picture. I explained it to him the right way. So now let's come back. So now, if you're going to jump up and say, "Oh, that's talking about they sold the little slave boys for harlots," they didn't have a separate ship with harlots on it. All right. So now let's start from the top. It said, for behold, so when, somebody says, oh, Deuteronomy 28 and 68, not talking about Jake, black people in slavery. It's talking about during the time of 70 AD, during the time of Titus, and they didn't sell themselves. Well, if you go to Josephus, and I did a video on it, it tells you in the Josephus, I believe, what is the title? Jewish Wars or something like that. I did a video on it, and they did do that, but they sold them. They sold them into slavery. And they did the same thing when we came over here. That's how we know that we're the Israelites. So let me start from the top. Try to read this whole chapter. It says, matter of fact, you know what? Let's have a little fun with this. Let's go to the NLT. See what it says. At the time of those events, says Yahweh, when I restore the prosperity of Judah and Jerusalem. By the way, Jerusalem is talking about the major city, and that's in the southern kingdom. We had some of these Israelites say Judah is the three tribes and Jerusalem is no. Jerusalem was not in northern Israel. So it's talking about Judah, Benjamin, Levi. I will gather the armies of the world into the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's what's happening now as we, in this time, in our time. There I will judge them for harming my people, which are the Israelites. Most High's people are the Israelites, no other people. My special possession, for scattering my people among the nations, literally among the nations, so we look like everybody, and for dividing up my land. Them people over there in Palestine today. That's what what they're trying to do is they're pushing out all the people that don't look like them. They want to. Who rules that land? The so-called descendants of the Ashkenazis, which are nothing but Edomites, and not Ashkenazis. They want to get rid of the Israelis, which don't even look like Ashkenazis. They're Arab looking, look like Palestinians. The Sephardic, the Falasha, the so-called Ethiopian Jews of Cush. So when you got this guy, Vocab Malone, trying to push that, well, the Lord couldn't be a black man. Well, wait a minute. Is it possible? Because you do have the Falashans, which the Israeli government took them in under the right of return. The right of return only applies to Israelites, Jewish people, as they would say. It says they threw dice so anything that they come with bring to us, we gotta counter for them. They said, well, you guys can't be the Israel, you're black. I said, wait a minute. There's Falashan Jews. There's what did I just say? You got the Falashan Jews of Ethiopia. You got the Sephardic Jews. You got the Israelis, which are dark. A lot of Israelis in the land that is accepted in the land of Israel. They look like Jake. They look like the Latin tribes. They look like Palestinians. A lot of Palestinians that strap bombs on themselves, they'll dress like they're an Israeli. And you thinking this guy's an Israeli, and all along it was a Palestinian that blew up some mall or something. So you got to have eyes in the back of your head. It says, they threw dice. They decided which of my people would be their slaves. They traded boys. They traded boys to obtain prostitutes. They made the boys prostitutes. Look up Buck Breaking. Watch the movie Buck Breaking by Tariq Nasheed. And sold girls for enough wine to get drunk. So they were getting them slave traders were getting drunk by giving their women up, which were Israelite women. It said, "What do you have against me, Tyre and Sidon?" Tyre and Sidon is talking about the land of Canaan. Anybody that's not of the nation of Israelites that lived in Tyre and Sidon in the land of Canaan, those are the enemies. So you have Edomites over there, you have Arabs over there, you got, originally there were Canaanites over there. The Canaanites were pushed out. So Tyre and Sidon is talking about them small hats and them Arabs. And you cities of Philistia, which are the Palestinians. The Palestinians really go back to Philistia, or the Philistines, which are Egyptians. Are you trying to take revenge on me? If you are, then watch out. I will strike swiftly and pay you back for everything you have done. The heathens, it says the Psalms 2, the heathens raging because the Chinese, they're going to be the new ones to take over, or the Arabs. No, we're going to take over. It says, and they know, the elite knows this. That's why they're lawyering, these small hats are lawyering up. You have taken my silver and my gold and all my precious. So that's a controversy. If they're saying you guys are anti-Semite for calling yourself the people, well, if we say we are the people, then that's a controversy. And how do you settle controversies? You go to a court. In this case, the World Court. And then the evidence will come up. The evidence, the scriptures will be a part of the main piece of evidence. You can't call me anti-Semite for me saying I'm an Israelite. Even the UN Charter, the part of the UN, it says the right to self-identification, meaning you can call yourself anything you want. You got Edomites saying that they're a horse. I'm a horse. You got men saying that they're women, and you got women saying that they're men. So you can identify yourself anything that you want. If Jake want to say he's Chinese, he's a Chinaman. You have taken my silver and my gold and my precious treasures, and have carried them off to your pagan temples. And that the ultimate thing was during 70 AD when they raided the treasury, and they had temples. Remember the Romans, the Roman Empire. They had there was a religion involved in that too. They prayed to their gods. You have sold the people of Judah and Jerusalem. What does it mean by Judah and Jerusalem? That means Judah, Benjamin, Levi. To the Greeks. Now the word there is talking about Yawan, so they could, which is a white man. Now in the New Testament, the word Greek refers to Israelites, like Cornelius. He would be considered a Greek before he woke up to the fact that he was an Israelite. So they could take them far from their homeland. How far? To the other side of the world, to the Americas. It was called a triangle slave trade. They start from like England or Europe, parts of Europe. They would go down to the Africas, get the slaves, drop off gifts to the one that sold the slave to them. They would have other cargo besides slaves. Then they would set sail to the Americas. They would sell the slaves there. They would get more commodities. Then they would go back to in Europe. That's why they call it the triangle slave trade. So they wasn't just selling slaves. It says, but I will bring them back from all the places which you sold them. And this is talking about now. And I will pay you back for everything you have done. You put us into slavery, he that leaves in captivity shall go into captivity. I will sell your sons and your daughters to the people of Yahweh, and they will sell them to the people of Arabia. Now it says the Sabians, a nation far off. I, your Lord, the Lord Yahweh, have spoken it. That means taskmasters. See, Esau is going to be on the very bottom, but these other nations will be like the middle class. Just like you got people from other nations that come to America, they do better than Jake. Jake is on the bottom. Say to the nations far and wide, get ready for war. Call out your best warriors. Let all your fighting men advance for the attack. And we're in this time right now. We're in the fulfillment of Joel the third chapter. Hammer your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Make weapons. Make ICBM missiles. Train even your weakest to be warriors. Come quickly, all you nations everywhere. Gather together in the valley of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat, now you got to go into Hebrew. Jehoshaphat is Hebrew for Yahweh Shaphat, which means Yahweh's judgment. It says when he pleads with them, the word plead is Shaphat, which judge. He's not going to plead with them, he's going to judge them. And now, that's why you have to know the Hebrew, some Hebrew and some Greek. O Yahweh, call out your warriors. Let the nations be called to arms. Let them march to the valley of Jehoshaphat, the lowland of the valley of judgment, which is in Joel chapter 2. A place that is barren and desolate. That's in between the Red Sea and the Euphrates. That's like the Saudi Arabia, that desert area. There Yahweh will sit to pronounce judgment on them all. Not just Esau, but them other nations. Everybody that possesses missiles, that have armies that go down there, they're gonna die there. They're gonna be buried there. Because there's not going to be any dead bodies to pick back up. It says, swing the sickle, for harvest is ripe. That's in Revelation 14. Come, tread the grapes, for the wine press is full. The storage vats are overflowing with the wickedness of the people. Like the vats of wine in Revelation chapter 14. Both sides said the Lord going to stain his garments. He's not going to stain his garments. He's going to be in the ship at the all the time. It's just, that's symbolic. That's poetic talk. He's not going to have a white garment with blood all over it. Thousands. He's not coming in on a horse. He's not coming in on a cloud. He's coming in on a gigantic ship. Thousands upon thousands are waiting in the valley of decision. The day of the Lord will soon arrive. The sun and the moon will grow dark, and the stars will no longer shine, meaning because the missiles are going to cover the sky. So it's going to be daytime, and then it's going to go to night. There's a scripture that said there should be a time, neither night. Let me see if I can find that. A time where it's not day or night. Bible. Let's see what comes up. It shall come to pass in the day that there will be no light. The lights will diminish. It shall be one day which. Okay, this is it. But let me bring it to you in the that's Zechariah 14:6. I want to get it in the King James. It shall be one day which is known to Yahweh, neither day nor night, but at evening time it shall happen that it will light. So it's going to go from darkness, and then the light is going to be the fire from the missiles. So Zechariah saw it. He saw the missiles hitting Babylon the Great. Let me try to rush through this here. 16th verse, Yahweh's voice will roar from Zion and thunder from Jerusalem. So Zion and Jerusalem is in Jerusalem. And the heavens and the earth shall shake. But Yahweh will be a refuge for his people, starting with the elect. A strong fortress for the people of Israel. This fortress is what? The ship. Blessings for the Most High's people, the Israelites, national Israel. Then you will know that I, Yahweh, your power, live in Zion. My holy mountain, Jerusalem, will be holy forever. That's the holy forever, meaning the Gog is not going to, Gog and Magog, as this guy would say, after 1,000 years, they're going to regroup and they're going to come and attack us. That shit ain't going to happen. The hell is this nigga talking about? And foreign armies will never conquer. Wait a minute. And foreign armies will never conquer her again. So what did Bishop Nate mean by after 1,000 years they're going to regroup and they're going to come and get us? But then the Lord's got to intervene. Let me do this. Let me come back to the King James. So this is the 17th verse. So shall ye know that I am Yahweh, your power, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her any more. Should we come back? Will be holy forever, and foreign armies will never conquer her again. And if you notice, after Bishop Nathaniel taught that, he never brought that thing back up. He realized that he went off. Like he did when he told these guys, you can't keep the laws, and to prove that you got to eat pork in front of us. And 14 guys left, never came back, and he realized that he was going off. This is him telling me that. In that day the mountains will drip with sweet wine. That's the kingdom. Kingdom is going to be on earth. And the hills will flow with milk, water, and will fill the stream beds of Yahweh, the places where Yahweh, Judah dwells, and a fountain will burst forth from Yahweh's temple, watering the arid valley of Achisias. But Egypt will become a wasteland. Not talking about ancient Egypt. Talking about spiritual Egypt. And Edom. Notice how it mentions Egypt and Edom. The Edomites never had control over, they came in during the time of the Ptolemaic dynasty, but the Egyptians are black people, not Edomites. So we know that this is not talking about actual Egypt. It's talking about America. It says, but Egypt, which is America, or Babylon, will become a wasteland from the missiles, and Edom will become a wilderness. Isaiah 34 tells you that it's called the land of Edom. That's America. Another name for Egypt, Assyria, Babylon, Sodom and Egypt, because they attacked the people of Yahweh and killed innocent people in their land. But Yahweh will be filled with people forever, and Jerusalem will endure through all generations. That means nobody's going to attack us. The scripture said in Isaiah, world without end. I will pardon my people's crimes. Who are the people of the Most High? All the Israelites. So if the Most High going to pardon your crimes, how is it that certain Israelites are going to burn in hell? I'm going to look up the word pardon, see what the Hebrew word is. Which I have not yet pardoned, and I, Yahweh, will make my home in Jerusalem with my people. Let's look up the word pardon. So not one Israelite's going to burn in hell. Not one Edomite's going to burn in hell. Okay, so it doesn't say that. It doesn't use the word pardon. This is going back to the King James. For the Lord dwells in Zion. It says, I will pardon my people's crimes. So not one of them is going to go into slavery or burn in hell, not like that. They're going to come back right. My people shall be what? All righteous. Romans 11:25 and 26. For all Israel shall be saved. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.